modern India, I actually divide modern India into two parts. Not only me, like most of the people actually divide modern India into two parts. From 1707 until your 1857, from 1857 until your 1947, that is the time when the modern India is divided into the second half, right? Why this? सबसे interesting चीज थी why this idea, right? ये idea इसलिए important था क्योंकि from 1707 and until your 1857, East India Company was very, very important. I'm not saying all through this particular 150 years or so, East India Company was ruling, but from 1707 until 1857, Britishers were very, very strong in the form of your East India Company. So East India Company was very, very strong, right? So that is something which we need to understand. 1857 के बाद क्या हुआ है? After 1857, the rule of India got transferred directly within the ambit of the British Crown, right? So now the British Crown was having the direct control of India. That is why I divide modern India into two phases. ठीक है? जब हम 1857 से बात करते हैं until 1947, this particular portion is also very, very in the context of very, very important for prelims, right? यही हम कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे. We are actually doing our history for the prelims examination. That is something which we are aiming at to clear right now. ठीक है? 1857 के बाद से जितने भी आइडियाज इंडिया के अंदर होते हैं, they are actually very, very important from the prelims examination, right? So that is something which we need to now understand. ठीक है? अब हुआ क्या है? 1857 के बाद से ब्रिटिश क्राउन में इंडियन टेरिटरी कन्वर्ट हो गया. It was now a crown ruled territory. Just sit back for 10 minutes. I'll explain you this as a story ताकि कोई connection बन जाए. Then we will come to, after telling you the story, then we will come to the important things which we need to focus upon in the post 1857 era. उसको करने के बाद we will come to the today's topic, that is the decline of the Mughal Empire. That is the decline of the Mughal Empire, right? तो सबसे पहले सुनो story. अब 1857 का revolt हुआ. The soldiers, they actually revolted against the British, right? सबने करा, soldiers ने करा, peasants ने करा, earlier kings ने करा, like Nana Sahib, Rani Lakshmi Bai. All these people actually started protesting against the Britishers. ठीक है? So when all these people started protesting against the Britishers, so initially they were very, very successful. For 1 year, approximately, they were very, very successful. लेकिन क्या है? After being successful initially, these people were not able to carry on their success. They were not able to carry on with the things which they have started. So this gave an opportunity to the Britishers to come and reclaim their territories, to come and reclaim the portion which they have lost, right? So when we will come to 1857, we will see the reasons for the defeat of the rebellious forces. तो Britishers को यहाँ पर एक मौका मिला है. They came back and reclaimed their territories, and after reclaiming their territories, what started to happen was, now slowly and steadily, the Britishers removed these people from the scene and they won the war of 1857, and the Crown's rule started in India. And at the same time, British East India Company was also now kicked out of the political scene of India. ठीक है? 1857 revolt हम हार गए. Okay, fine. But as we know, every cloud has a silver lining, right? Every cloud has a silver lining. That is what we need to understand. When every cloud has a silver lining, तो सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट ये है कि 1857 हारने की वजह से they have started a new idea in India known as the concept of early nationalism. Early nationalism. ठीक है? Now people slowly and steadily started feeling पेट्रियोटिक टुवर्ड्स देयर कंट्री। लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है, ये नेशनलिज्म हम यहां पर हम देख रहे हैं, वो नेशनलिज्म 1947 वाली नेशनलिज्म से कंपेयर हम कर सकते हैं, उस फीलिंग से हम कंपेयर कर सकते हैं? नहीं, इट्स स्टिल द बिगिनिंग of that particular kind of feeling. So people slowly and steadily started feeling something for the country, right? Because now the educated people were coming in, they started kind of illuminating the exploitation of the Britishers. ठीक है, सब लोगों में बता रहे हैं कि ब्रिटिशर्स क्या कर रहे हैं, क्या नहीं कर रहे हैं, आपको कैसे एक्सप्लॉइट कर रहे हैं। धीरे धीरे ये सब चीजें लोगों तक पहुंच रही हैं, सो दे आर नॉट फीलिंग पेट्रियोटिक टुवर्ड्स देयर कंट्रीज। तो अब क्या होता है, जैसे जैसे नेशनलिज्म इंक्रीज होती है, उसके अंदर क्या होता है, डिफरेंट डिफरेंट रीजन्स के अंदर छोटे छोटे स्मॉल पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज दे स्टार्ट टू इमर्ज, right? Like the Pune Sarvajanik Samaj, Landholders Society, everything, right? When we will come to this particular topic, we will see कि कौन सी चीजें exactly develop होती हैं। तो ये सब लोग क्या करते हैं, they actually increase the awareness of the common people, right? They increase the awareness of the common people against the nature of the British rule in India। ठीक है, अब धीरे धीरे करके इन सबके रोल एक तरह से कल्मिनेट होते हैं इन द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ द इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस, इन द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ द इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस इन 1885। सो धीरे धीरे कांग्रेस की फॉर्मेशन होती है। कांग्रेस के स्टार्टिंग फेज में कुछ लीडर्स होते हैं जिन्हें हम कहते हैं मॉडरेट्स। मॉडरेट्स वो लीडर हैं जो कि सोचते हैं दैट द ब्रिटिशर्स आर अ ब्लेसिंग टू इंडिया, right? There are certain problems with the Britishers, otherwise the Britishers are fine, right? तो एग्जैक्टली ब्रिटिशर्स को डायरेक्टली अटैक करने की बजाय ब्रिटिशर्स को पिटिशंस एंड प्रेयर्स के थ्रू बताने की कोशिश करते हैं कि आपके साथ ये सारी प्रॉब्लम है। ये जो मोस्टली लोग हैं मॉडरेट्स, दे वर फॉरेन एजुकेटेड, मोस्टली फ्रॉम ऑक्सफोर्ड, मोस्टली फ्रॉम कैम्ब्रिज, सो दे वर एक्चुअली द प्रोडक्ट ऑफ ऑक्सी ब्रिज, राइट? सो व्हेन दीज पीपल वर द प्रोडक्ट ऑफ ऑक्सी ब्रिज, तो उनकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग भी उसी तरीके से। लेकिन जैसे जैसे हम we are coming towards the end of the 19th century and the starting of the 20th century, there came another crop of leader in Congress who were native educated, who were indigenously educated in India. They were known as the extremists. So they were known as the extremists, right? So extremists का मानना था that we should get rid of the Britishers. Britishers are of no good at all, right? So धीरे धीरे moderates और extremists के बीच में conflict increase होने लग जाते हैं। ये conflict increase ज्यादा जब होता है when at the starting of the 20th century, Britishers actually take a decision. Britishers actually take a decision of the partition of Bengal. Britishers कहते हैं कि we should now take the partition of Bengal decision. उनके हिसाब से बंगाल प्रोविंस जो है which consisted of Bihar, Bengal and Odisha, right? ये सब बहुत बड़ा पार्ट था, इसको रूल करना बहुत डिफिकल्ट था, तो उन्होंने उसको पार्टीशन करने की कोशिश करी और उसके रिस्पॉन्स में स्टार्ट हुआ द स्वदेशी मूवमेंट। तो अब स्वदेशी मूवमेंट जब चल रहा है तो मॉडरेट्स और एक्सट्रीमिस्ट को उसके बीच में लेके कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हो गया कि मॉडरेट्स कह रहे कि नहीं हमें इसे बंगाल में करना चाहिए, एक्सट्रीमिस्ट कह रहे नहीं हमें इसे बाहर लेके जाना चाहिए। बहरहाल ये सब चीजें इन दोनों के बीच में चलती हैं एंड देन दीज पीपल गॉट separated from each other in what is known as the Surat split of 1907, right? धीरे धीरे सूरत स्प्लिट हो जाता है। सूरत स्प्लिट होता है तो धीरे धीरे हम आगे चलते हैं इन द सेकेंड डिकेड ऑफ द 20th century। वहां पे नेशनल मूवमेंट अभी धीरे धीरे चल ही रहा है। लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल we have many important events taking place in the second half of the 20th century, on the second decade of the 20th century to be precise, like the Home Rule League movement of Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Annie Besant. That becomes very, very important. And the most important idea which comes through at this particular point of time was the coming in of Mahatma Gandhi in India. So Mahatma Gandhi comes back to India from his South African journey, right? He comes back to India from his South African journey, right? So that is something which becomes very, very important. And Mahatma Gandhi is a very, very important topic for prelims examination. Even if Mahatma Gandhi is breathing, that becomes very, very important, right? This is just a joke, but I'm telling you the importance of Mahatma Gandhi as a political leader. So what I'll do is I'll just write the things in which you have the order in which we have to study Mahatma Gandhi and the things which we have to study about Mahatma Gandhi. So what we have to study is the Gandhian phase, which actually starts from 1917 to be precise, and then it goes on until 1942. So this starts with Champaran and ends approximately with Quit India movement. So this is what we need to understand when we are talking about Gandhi. So when we talk about Gandhi, it's a very easy topic, but the point is कि कुछ चीजें हैं जो हमें एक ऑर्डर में समझ में आनी चाहिए, then Gandhi becomes very interesting. So what we need to read is his initial movements, like Champaran, Ahmedabad, and then your Kheda. जो इनकी इनिशियल मूवमेंट्स ये तीनों अहमदाबाद, चंपारण एंड खेड़ा, they are not exactly very impactful in a pan India context when we talk about, लेकिन जो इनकी ये तीनों मूवमेंट्स थी, इसने गांधी की एक इमेज को पूरे इंडिया में एक ऐसा प्रेजेंट कर दिया that yes, here was someone who actually can take revenge against the Britishers. So his initial movements were very important. After the initial movements, what comes through is the intermediate movement, जो कि था his Rowlatt Satyagraha. His intermediate movement was known as Rowlatt Satyagraha, right? So Rowlatt Satyagraha basically was the first movement in India जहां पे थोड़ा पैन इंडिया की तरफ हम बढ़ेंगे. Rowlatt Satyagraha was against the Rowlatt Act of 1919. ठीक है? So this is what we need to understand when we are talking about the intermediate movement of Gandhi. Then the major movements of Gandhi. Major movements of Gandhi के अंदर आएगा NCM 1920 until 22. Then come the CDM, that is the civil disobedience movement. ठीक है? So when we are a civil disobedience movement, and then will come the individual Satyagraha, right? 1940. That is important. I'm writing other movements here. Then after came the Quit India movement, 1942. Right? So this is how exactly we people need to understand the movements of Gandhi. So his movements were actually divided into three parts: initial, intermediate, and major movement. So this is something which you people need to understand in order to get the marks on Gandhi. ये एक सबसे पहली चीज है जो हमें दिमाग के अंदर रखनी है कि गांधी की इंडिया के अंदर एग्जैक्टली कौन कौन सी मूवमेंट कब हुई, राइट? सो दिस इज समथिंग व्हिच वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड. When we are talking about individual satyagraha, this was not a major movement, but it actually fell between CDM and Quit India movement. That is why I have bracketed it within this particular idea. Right? Okay. So what else do we need to understand about Gandhi? His ideas of satyagraha, his ideas on women, on untouchability, right? गांधी जी के सारे आइडियाज हमें एग्जैक्टली पता होने चाहिए, राइट? सो दिस इज समथिंग विच वी नीड टू रीड अबाउट गांधी. ये होगी इनकी फर्स्ट. सेकेंड चीज है द बुक्स which influenced him. The books which influenced him, they also have to be read, particularly when we are talking about Gandhi, right? The books which influenced him, the ideas. Then what we need to read about Gandhi are his books. which he wrote particularly my experiments with truth, and his book Hind Swaraj, and his book Hind Swaraj. So that is something which we need to understand. The books which he wrote. और साथ साथ में हमें और क्या पढ़ना है? The articles, newspapers which he published, So everything about Gandhi is very, very important. This is just a very, very simple idea of what we need to read when we are talking about Gandhi. Otherwise, when we are coming to this particular topic for the prelims examination, we will do it in a much more detail. अभी के लिए आपको ये समझना है कि गांधी को हमें ऐसे पूरा का पूरा पढ़ना है. उनकी मूवमेंट्स को मैंने डिवाइड कर दिया है. बाकी हमें उनके आइडियाज ऑन सत्याग्रह, ऑन विमेन, ऑन अनटचेबिलिटी पढ़ना है. The books which influenced him, like the book of Leo Tolstoy, War and Peace, it influenced him. Bhagavad Gita influenced him. The ideas of Jainism influenced him. Ideas of Buddhism influenced him. So all these things actually influenced Gandhi in a very, very big manner, right? And his concept, for example, his concept of ahisma or his concept of non-violence can be actually seen emanating from the concept of Jainism. Jainism के अंदर नॉन वायलेंस को काफी हद तक इंपॉर्टेंस दी जाती है. दैट इज व्हाट गांधी आल्सो डिड इन हिज आइडियोलॉजी. दिस इज समथिंग व्हिच इज need to be understood when we are talking about the Gandhian philosophy, right? So this is very, very important, right? Okay. If you people are like kind of facing the camera issue, let me just take 1 minute and call somebody so that you people do not face the camera issue. Just 1 minute. वो बच्चे कह रहे हैं कि राइट की तरफ नोट्स है ना, उनको कैमरा से प्रॉपर्ली दिख नहीं रहे हैं. मतलब ये वाला इधर की तरफ जो नोट्स है ना, वो दिख नहीं रहे हैं यहाँ वाले. तो हल्का सा कैमरा आप कर दो, ठीक है? I've just told, so he's just coming to get the things done, right? Is it correct now? Please answer me in the chat box. Are you able to see it now? Yes. Yes, we are ठीक है. Is it good? Okay. Fine. ठीक है भैया, ठीक है. Thank you. Thank you everyone. Let's get back to the topic. चलें आगे? Okay, let's go. Okay, ठीक है भैया. Thank you. Fine. So we were talking about Gandhi now. तो गांधी के अपने इनिशियल मूवमेंट्स, इंटरमीडिएट मूवमेंट, मेजर मूवमेंट्स, ये सब चीजें देखी. उनके आइडियाज, सत्याग्रह के ऊपर आइडियाज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. उन्होंने जो 2 बुक्स लिखी, माय एक्सपेरिमेंट्स विद ट्रुथ एंड हिंद स्वराज, इनके अंदर एग्जैक्टली क्या दिया गया है, दैट इज ऑल्सो वेरी मच इंपॉर्टेंट, राइट? सो व्हेन वी विल कम टू गांधी एज अ टॉपिक फॉर द प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन, आई विल मेक यू पीपल राइट द डिटेल्स of these 2 particular books. क्योंकि एक बार prelims में, I think in 2019, in the 2019 prelims, there came a question on indentured labor, right? There came a question on indentured labor, और उस question के अंदर ये दे रखा था, was Gandhi involved in the indentured labor issue in India? Indentured labor क्या है वो हम देखेंगे when we come to Gandhi in South Africa. वो उस टाइम का टॉपिक है. लेकिन the book, the 2 books, My Experiments with Truth and Hind Swaraj, these are 2 such important books कि even their index can be seen as a potential question in UPSC, right? So this is what we need to understand when we are talking about your Gandhian nationalism और गांधीयन फेज ऑफ इंडियन नेशनलिज्म, राइट? तो ये सब चीजें थी जो इस टाइम पे हो रही हैं, तो ये सब हमें आइडियाज एग्जैक्टली पढ़ने हैं व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट गांधी, करेक्ट? ओके, सो दिस इज व्हाट वाज हैपनिंग इन द स्टार्टिंग ऑफ द 20th century when Gandhi came back to India. एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज जो मैं आपको बताना भूल गया, when Gandhi came back to India in 1915, right? Even that particular time is an important event marker in the Indian history because that is now celebrated as the NRI Day, Bharatiya Pravasi Divas. That is how exactly it is now seen as. So this is something which you need to understand. मैं इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ, गांधी जी अगर सांस भी ले रहे हैं ना, that becomes very very important. So for prelims, very very important, right? Gandhi is very very important. You can actually expect 3 to 4 questions related to Gandhi in the prelims examination, right? Means के लिए तो है ही है, prelims के लिए भी बहुत ज्यादा important है. उन्होंने कौन सी बुक्स लिखी, उन्होंने कौन से न्यूज़पेपर्स पब्लिश करे, लाइक यंग इंडिया, हरिजन. साथ साथ में एक और इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है, द पॉलिटिकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस other than Congress, of which he was part of or formed. The political organizations other than Congress of which he was part of or formed. So this is again a very very important idea, right? So for example, I just give you, during the time of Rowlatt Satyagraha, during this particular time, he actually established a new political organization known as Rowlatt Satyagraha Sabha, right? Rowlatt Sabha or Rowlatt Satyagraha Sabha. That was something which he established during the time of Rowlatt Satyagraha. तो ऐसे ऐसे गांधी ने कुछ भी अगर इंडिया में करा रहेगा ना, तो दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. इसलिए मैं इसको बार बार इस चीज को रिपीट कर रहा हूं. आप लोगों को लग रहा होगा क्या सर आप बार बार बोल, बट दिस इज दैट इज व्हाई आई एम जस्ट सेइंग दैट गांधी वाज वेरी मच इंटरेस्टेड in everything which was happening during this particular point of time, right? So when Gandhi took over the Indian politics, he became very very important. गांधी के साथ साथ और भी बहुत सारे लोग तो जिस टाइम पे इंडियन पॉलिटिक्स में धीरे धीरे अपनी इन्फ्लुएंस इंक्रीज कर रहे हैं, लाइक जवाहरलाल नेहरू इज इंक्रीजिंग, सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल इज इंक्रीजिंग, और भी बहुत सारी चीजें इस टाइम पे चल रही हैं, लाइक द ट्रेड यूनियन मूवमेंट्स, लाइक द प्रिंसली स्टेट मूवमेंट. ये सब चीजें भी एग्जैक्टली इंडिया के अंदर 20th सेंचुरी में चल रही है. People are also focusing on the economics of the Britishers. They are also criticizing the economic activity of the Britishers, right? Slowly and steadily, we will see the Indians are getting into the groove in the 20th century. During the time of Gandhian struggle itself, Indians are getting into groove. They are becoming much more nationalistic. They are able to think much more about their country. They are ready to sacrifice, right? ठीक है, तो इससे नेशनलिज्म बहुत ज्यादा इंक्रीज हो रही है. नेशनलिज्म इतना ज्यादा इंक्रीज हो जाती है दैट पीपल they try and follow other ideas than Gandhi's idea, like the ideas of a great Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev. So these people also try to propagate their own ideas of nationalism. So that we will study when we come to this particular topic. तो धीरे धीरे करके nationalism increase हो जाती है, but by the time we come to 1940s, that is the last decade of the British power in India, एक और इंटरेस्टिंग चीज इंडिया के अंदर होने स्टार्ट हो जाती है, दैट इज द राइज ऑफ कम्युनलिज्म. दैट इज द राइज ऑफ कम्युनलिज्म. दैट ऑल्सो स्टार्ट्स टू इंक्रीज एट दिस पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, राइट? कम्युनलिज्म का मतलब क्या है? दैट इज समथिंग फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि कम्युनलिज्म होता क्या है. Communalism is nothing but a very simple concept, right? Communalism is a concept in which you favor one religion over the other, right? You favor one religion over the other and try to make the other religion as a villain in your life. For example, I'm being very, very unbiased right now. Right? For example, you are a Muslim. Right? For example, you are a Muslim. So what you will do in 1940s is you will try and only favor the Muslim people at that particular point of time, right? And you will try and instigate the Muslim population against the Hindu population, right? So this was being done during 1940s कि आप एक religion के लोगों को दूसरे religion से लड़ा रहे हो. This was not only about the Muslim population, but also about other religions also. So everybody was actually trying to do the same thing, right? कोई ज़्यादा, कोई कम. So this is what we need to understand. One more thing which you people need to understand when you are preparing for UPSC, that जितना भी WhatsApp पढ़ लो, जितना भी आप ये न्यूज चैनल्स देख लो, सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग चीज जो आपको करनी है that you have to remain neutral. You cannot favor one religion over another, despite whatever political affiliations one might have. So you have to be a very, very sensible officer. You people are going to become the officers, right? Of a country which has a religious diversity. So you cannot favor one religion over the another. You have to be very, very practical while solving the problem. So one advice is, and one basic thing which you need to do is that you need to develop this OLQ. OLQ means officer-like quality, that you have to remain unbiased. You have to remain neutral while listening to the problems if it arises out of the communal आइडिया. ठीक है. बहरहाल पॉइंट इज कम्युनलिज्म का बेसिक आइडिया ये है कि 1940s तक कम्युनलिज्म इंक्रीज होने लग जाता है, राइट? अब जैसे जैसे कम्युनलिज्म इंक्रीज होने लग जाता है, सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज मोहम्मद अली जिन्ना द ग्रेट पर्सन, राइट, ऑफ मुस्लिम लीग, ही इज एट द फोर फ्रंट. मतलब उस इंसान को पाकिस्तान लेना ही है, राइट, किसी भी कीमत पे. इवन his slogans which he starts making is लड़के लेंगे मर के लेंगे लेके रहेंगे पाकिस्तान, right? So that was something which was done by Jinnah, right? Jinnah was offered many policies, Jinnah was offered many things कि भैया अपनी पाकिस्तान का आइडिया वापस ले लो, but Jinnah never kind of took a step back from this particular position. He was hell bent on taking the idea of Pakistan, which he did. तो धीरे धीरे क्या कम्युनलिज्म इंक्रीज होने लग जाता है, and then finally as we come towards the 1946 1947, it's now confirmed that Pakistan is going to be formed. And when finally the last plan of the Britishers comes through, that is the Mountbatten Plan of 3rd June 1947, the idea of Pakistan is stated there. And when the date of independence comes, there starts a communal violence in India, in which the people of one community are mercilessly killing the people of another community. So communal violence during partition was one of the greatest genocide witnessed in the world, right? Genocide means mass killing of people. It was one of the greatest genocide which was actually being seen during that particular time. And this is something which you need to understand when we are talking about the modern Indian history. So you can see the post-independence era का सबसे बड़ा challenge था to kind of tackle the communal problem which was given to us by the Britishers. So I'll just tell you a joke, right? Joke for us, not for the Britishers, right? So I was talking to one of my friends who studies in Cambridge. He's a British, right? He actually came to a university for exchange program. So we were just talking on the Skype one day, just before, I think on 12th of August or 13th of August. What happens is, he says, hey dude, your partition anniversary is coming. I was like totally out of my mind at that particular point of time. मैंने कहा लगा भाई तू कैसे बोल सकता है ऐसा? How exactly you can say such outrageous thing? Partition was something which was given to us by you people, not by us, right? So that was not, we do not celebrate it as a partition anniversary. We actually celebrate it as an independence from the exploitative rule of the Britishers. So this is an attitude which the Britishers still have. They think that the Indians or the people who were their former colonies, they're still their slaves, they're servants. So that is the attitude which we need to tackle around right now in the present day context, in the postmodern era. So communalism, when we come to post-independence India, it was one of the major challenges for the government to tackle. and this was something of a parting gift given to us by the Britishers, right? So this is how exactly you need to understand that this is what needs to be done in modern India. तो हमने exactly एक introduction देख लिया है modern India का, right? So now what we will do is we will come to today's topic, that is the decline of Mughal Empire, that is starting from the 1707, right? So we will now start the first topic of modern India, known as the decline of the Mughal Empire. Topic को करने का हमेशा एक ये तरीका रहेगा कि first of all when I mention the topic, I'll write the important pointers कि हमें exactly examination purpose से इस topic में क्या क्या पढ़ना है, ठीक है? उसके बाद I'll just tell you the topic as a story, and also if we will try and do two or three questions related to that particular topic for the prelims examination. So that will be my way of completing each and every topic. I'll rush through the topics until 1857, and after 1857 we will try and do topics in a little more detail, in a little more explanative manner until 17, from 1707 until 1857, except for two or three topics like the social reforms, like the educational reforms, right? Or except for all these topics, I will be rushing through most of the topics. जहां मुझे लगेगा explanation की need है, I'll try and give you. But after 1857 until 1947 will be our major focus for study in the UPSC prelims modern history module, right? So today we are going to start the first topic, known as decline of Mughal Empire. Right, important points to focus. Just before I write this important points to focus, there's this UPSC related meme which I was reading in the morning. उस meme के अंदर क्या था? There was this some person who was saying that how should we complete spectrum, or how should be like, how exactly we can complete the whole spectrum. So the person answering that particular lady was, at least start reading it from the start, then only you will be able to complete it, right? So this is how exactly I was reading a joke in the morning on spectrum also, right? Important points to focus is chronological order of later Mughals. Chronological order of later Mughals. So this is something which is very, very important. Like chronological order of the later Mughals. This is like very, very important, right? So this is something which you need to understand. उसके बाद आएगा the reasons for decline. Like what exactly are the reasons for decline? And then finally, important things which happened under late Mughal kings. Example, I'll just give an example. In 1717, the Mughal emperor granted concessions to British East India Company, which later on in 1757 resulted in Plassey right? So this is something. This is just an example which I'm trying to give you people, right? 1717 में जो मुगल किंग थे फारूक सियाज, उन्होंने ब्रिटिशर्स को कुछ ट्रेडिंग कंसेशंस दिए थे, and these trading concessions actually became the major cause for the revolt of for the battle of Plassey in 1757. तो ऐसी ऐसी कुछ चीजें हैं जो कि हमें देखना है कि कौन से किंग के बारे में किस टाइम पे हुई थी. हमें एग्जैक्टली हर एक किंग के बारे में नहीं पढ़ना कि हर एक किंग ने क्या करा. वी विल जस्ट सेलेक्ट द इंपॉर्टेंट किंग्स and then try and look at the ideas which are happening during their particular point of time. So for this particular topic, we are only interested in three things: chronological order, reasons for decline, and the important things which happened during the late Mughal times, right? So this is something which we need to understand when we are talking about the decline of Mughal Empire, right? So, okay, just before I start this topic, okay, board is not clear. Is it clear now? और अभी भी नहीं है पूरा. Is it the marker or what is there some problem with the connection? Board is not clear. Okay. So issue is asking what about the Gadar, right? So issue Gadar, we will talk about Gadar in a topic which is known as other strands of nationalism. So Gadar was a movement which was actually started by Lala Hardayal in San Francisco. And Gadar becomes a very, very important idea for instigating the feeling of nationalism even more, both inside India and outside India, right? We will study that Gadar movement in detail when we come to the era of 1917, 1918, right? So this is something which we need to understand. Okay, we are not able to see the extreme end of the board. So I'll get this problem solved until the next class. What we will do is I'll just try and write in the middle for the time being so that you people are able to understand the things in a proper manner. In the next class, I'll just fix the board and ask you people if you're able to see the board clearly, right? So I'll just try and write the things at the center now, right? Okay. So these are the three things which you need to read for this particular topic. These are the important topics for focus, right? तो ये सब चीजें हमें इसमें से पढ़नी है. सबसे पहले हम आज देखते हैं इसका chronological order. Let's just see the chronological order. So I'll just give you a table. I'll make a table on the board of the chronological order. So सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग चीज क्या है chronological order को याद रखना, right? इसको याद कैसे रखा जाए, क्योंकि मैं I started teaching 4 to 5 years back. तो जब से यही क्वेश्चन मेरे सामने आता है कि सर इसको याद कैसे रखा जाए. So that is something which we need to understand. याद रखने का मतलब ये नहीं है कि you start ratifying it, you just start cramming it. No, not at all. So whenever you have to read the chronological of the last Mughal kings, तो आपको करना क्या है कि आपने आज क्लास में पूरा ये लिस्ट आपको मिल जाएगी अभी, तो आपको इसको एक पेपर पे अच्छे से लिखना है, राइट? और यू कैन राइट इट नाउ इन अ प्रॉपर मैनर. तो मेहनत एक ही बार होगी, थोड़ा बड़ा बड़ा, ठीक है, बड़ा बड़ा. और ये मैं अपना खुद का बनाया हुआ तरीका है जिससे मैंने एग्जाम क्लियर करा था अपना यूजीसी नेट फॉर टीचिंग इन कॉलेज. तो उसमें मैंने क्या करा था कि आई टुक अ वेरी बिग चार्ट पेपर. मैंने तो पूरा चार्ट पेपर लिया था. इफ द चार्ट पेपर इज नॉट अवेलेबल राइट नाउ, what you people can do is you can write it neatly on a sheet of paper. तो मेहनत एक बार लगेगी लेकिन थोड़ा बड़ा, which is clearly visible from some distance, ठीक है? और उसको अपने रूम के जहां भी आपने लगाना है, स्टडी जहां पर आप करते हो, वहां पर एग्जैक्टली ऐसे फिक्स कर दो कि जब भी आप उसको देखो तो आप एक नजर में सारी चीजें पढ़ लो, राइट? तो इससे क्या होगा that you people will not be under the pressure of cramming this. Cram कर लो, just try cramming. You will forget it in 2 days. 2 days can forget कर दोगे. That's my challenge. So the best way is to stick it on a piece of paper on the wall and just keep on reading it daily. Just make a reading of it for 1 or 2 minutes daily. तो आप डेली इसको देखोगे ना तो आपको एक दिन लगेगा यार yes, now I am able to understand this chronological order in a very, very good manner. That is the trick. That is the trick to actually understand the chronological order of the Mughal king, right? मिथुन भैया इसकी चार्जिंग खत्म हो गई है. Hello. Hi, there was just some problem which I mentioned in the chat box. So yeah. So what we are going to do first of all is the chronological order of the later Mughals. Right, that is the first thing which we have in mind. Right. Then there was this reason of decline. Right, and then the important things which happened during the late Mughal kings. So all these things are to be done when we are talking about the decline of Mughal empire. Right. Okay. So what we will do now is I will give you a table of the chronological order of of the late Mughal kings chronological order. So this forms a very important question in the examination. जो great Mughals हैं उनका क्रोनोलॉजिकल ऑर्डर इसलिए ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है बिकॉज एवरीबडी नोज देम, राइट? कि बाबर, हुमायूं, अकबर, जहांगीर, शाहजहां, औरंगजेब, सो दीज पीपल केम, इसे एवरीबडी नोज दैट। यूपीएससी आपसे क्वेश्चन वहां पूछेगा जहां थोड़ा एक यूनिक चीज हुई है, क्योंकि इस टाइम पे इन द लेटर मुगल टाइम्स द किंग्स आर कमिंग, किंग्स आर गोइंग, राइट? कोई कोई किंग तो सिर्फ 3 महीने के लिए, कोई किंग 2 महीने के लिए, कोई सिर्फ 8 महीने के लिए, कोई 1 साल के लिए, ऐसे ऐसे किंग्स आ रहे हैं। तो they are actually in quick succession of each other. So what is happening is this is a unique point which now becomes a question in UPSC. So that is something which we need to understand when we are talking about the chronological order. So I'll just give you the chronological order. You people make it in a very neat manner, or jaise maine bataya, stick it on the wall and we will then do it. Right? The first king after Aurangzeb was Bahadur Shah. 1. 1707 until 1712. Bahadur Shah 1. Right? That was his name. So Bahadur Shah 1 was his name. ठीक है, अब बच्चे मोस्टली कंफ्यूज किसमें करते हैं? दे एक्चुअली कंफ्यूज बिटवीन बहादुर शाह 1 एंड बहादुर शाह 2. ठीक है, बहादुर शाह 2 के नेम था बहादुर शाह जफर. Zafar, who was the last king. And why Zafar? Zafar was his pen name. तकल्लुस कहते हैं, पेन नेम होता है. It's your name when you are writing poetry, right? जैसे एक मेरा फ्रेंड है, he writes poetry. उसका ओरिजिनल नेम है दानियाल, right? एक तो पोएट्री लिखता है, his poetic name और pen name is आफ्ताब, right? So this is how exactly the things are. So Zafar जो थे, he was the last Mughal emperor and Zafar was his pen name. And Zafar has nothing to do with first Bahadur Shah 1. ठीक है, तो इससे please do not confuse between the Bahadur Shah 1 and Bahadur Shah 2. ठीक है, second जो king आते हैं after Bahadur Shah is Jahandar Shah. So Jahandar Shah is the next king. After Jahandar Shah came Farooq Siyar. What a funny name. How can somebody name himself as Farooq Siyar, right? Then came Farooq Siyar, correct? So these are the first 3 kings. First was your Bahadur Shah 1, then was your Jahandar Shah, next was your Farooq Siyar. So this is what you need to understand when we are talking about the first 3 king in the chronological order, right? So after Farooq Siyar, I'm writing FS for Farooq Siyar. 2 kings came, Rafi ul Darjat 1719 and then Rafi ud Dawla 1719 itself, right? So they were of no consequence at all, right? ये king थे भी और नहीं भी थे because they only ruled for 2 months or 3 months, right? लेकिन ये लोग हमारे लिए एग्जामिनेशन में प्रॉब्लम एग्जैक्टली क्रिएट कर सकते हैं. These people can actually create problem for us in the examination. कैसे क्रिएट कर सकते हैं? Because they are succeeding each other in very quick time. और दोनों भाइयों के नाम भी सेम है, रफी उल उद दरजात दौला. तो लोग क्या, we people can actually tend to confuse these two particular names. So do not get confused now. Make this particular table and you will remember it for the rest of your life. So Rafi ul Darjat and Rafi ul Dawla. So these were the 2 kings which came after Farooq Siyar. And after Farooq Siyar came another king known as Muhammad Shah. Muhammad Shah 1719 until 1748, aka means also known as aka Rangila, So for his whole name was Muhammad Shah Rangila. That's quite a funny name, right? Muhammad Shah Rangila is quite a funny name. लेकिन इसका नाम रंगीला पड़ा क्यों? Yes, जैसे नाम वैसे काम. That is something which we need to understand. इन भाई साहब को except for dance. Like during his time, Kathak dancing was at its zenith. Dance, music, poetry, and women, wine. इसके अलावा कुछ और सोचता ही नहीं था. That is why he was known as Muhammad Shah Rangila. In fact, मैं आपको एक इंसिडेंट बताता हूँ, एक स्टोरी I'll tell you. So his reigns end in 1748. ठीक है, 1748 में इसका टाइम ओवर हो जाता है. So when his time ends in 1748, तो इसके टाइम पे एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट इवेंट हुआ था in 1739. That is the अटैक ऑफ द पर्शियन इन्वेडर नोन एज नादिर शाह. ठीक है, नादिर शाह आ गया 1739 में. अब नादिर शाह भाई साहब धीरे धीरे करनाल तक पहुंच गए. ठीक है, दिल्ली तक भी आने वाले थे. जब वो करनाल तक एग्जैक्टली पहुंच गए तो उससे पहले ही इनके आर्मी कमांडर्स ने इनको बोला कि सर 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 उठो, प्लीज लिसन, नादिर शाह इज कमिंग टू इंडिया, कमिंग टू दिल्ली, प्लीज डू समथिंग. एंड हिज एटीट्यूड वाज लाइक, अरे अभी दूर है, right? It's still quite far away. We will see when he come to India or when he come to Delhi particularly. And Nadir Shah आया और वो छा गया. Right? Nadir Shah came and he looted Delhi for 2 months. He even took away your Kohinoor. He even took away our peacock throne. So that is something which we need to understand कि इन भाई साहब को रंगीला term क्यों दिया गया था, right? Because he was only interested in wine and women and dancing and music, right? So after Muhammad Shah Rangila came another king known as Ahmad Shah. Ahmad Shah 1748 until 1754. Ahmad Shah 1748 until 1754. Until 1754. And after Ahmad Shah came Alamgir II. After Ahmad Shah came Alamgir II from 1754 until 1759. Right? तो यहाँ पे इसके नाम पे एक क्वेश्चन बन सकता है that who was known as Alamgir I? Who was known as Alamgir I? So Alamgir I was the title which was given to the last of the great Mughal emperors known as Aurangzeb. So Aurangzeb was having the title of Alamgir I, and Alamgir II was the king who came in 1754 and stayed until your 1759, right? So this is what you need to understand when we are talking about the Alamgir II. Alamgir I was the name given to your Aurangzeb. I hope you people are able to see. Yes, you people are able to see. Next is your Shah Jahan III. Shah Jahan III, 1759 until 1760. 1759 until 1760. Next was your, yes, it's visible. Next was your from 1760 until 1806 was your Shah Alam II. 1760 until 1806. 1760 until 1806 was the next king, right? Next was your Akbar II, 1806 until 1837, 1806 until 1807, right? And the last king I'll just dictate, please write. It was Bahadur Shah Zafar. It was Bahadur Shah Zafar. It was Bahadur Shah Zafar from 1837, from 1837 until 1857. Bahadur Shah Zafar from 1837 until 1857. So we basically have 10 major kings and 2 non-consequential kings in this particular play of later Mughals. So this is the basic chronological order, and this is very, very important from the prelims examination perspective. Prelims perspective, very, very important, right? So this is something which you need to do in this particular टॉपिक, राइट? ये सबसे ज्यादा चीज इंटरेस्टिंग है, करेक्ट? ओके. So, in the next class, what we will do is we will just complete this topic. We will study the reasons. We will study what happened during which king. So, it will complete the topic. And then we will come to the new topic, which was the rise of Europeans in India or the advent of the Europeans in India. और उसके अंदर हमें exactly क्या क्या पढ़ना है, we will see in that. And we will also do some questions related to your late Mughal empire, right? So this is the basic idea which we need to understand. So for today, please write this chronological order in a proper manner and try to read this every day so that it get fixed in your mind, because it's very easy to get 2 marks out of this, right? So we will complete this particular topic in the next class and start off with advent of the Europeans, right? Okay. So just before I end, Ishu is saying, yes, Ishu, you were actually asking me about the Gadar movement, right? Yeah, Gadar movement is again very, very important. Why Gadar movement is important? That it increased and enhanced the idea of nationalism, not only amongst the people living in India, but also amongst the people who were living outside India, right? Right, in San Francisco in Germany, Lala Hardayal, wherever he went, and also other people who came from outside and spread the ideas of nationalism here. So Gadar movement is a very, very epoch-defining movement in the history of Indian nationalism. So that is something which we need to understand about Gadar, right? We will study about Gadar issue when we come to this particular topic, right? Okay. So I'll see you all in the next class. Thank you.